Sporting immortality does not come easily. There are challenges that seem insurmountable, times that can't be beaten, distances that cannot be achieved.
Oh, it's huge, it's massive!
Records that can't be broken.
Unbelievable!
Things that science tell you is impossible. And then suddenly, it happens.
Another 10 for Kipchoge.
The barrier is broken. The glass ceiling shattered.
It's right across the ball!
History is made.
A new world record for Usain Bolt!
The impossible becomes possible. But to do that, to break new ground, it takes one very special individual.
Copy, we have Mr. Eliud Kipchoge on behalf of the Kenyan Civil Aviation Authority. Best of luck on the 159 challenge and bring him the title.
October 2019, the streets of Vienna, the time and the place for a chance of history. Could Eliud Kipchoge become the first man to break the 2-hour barrier for the marathon? I was privileged to be there. The sun's coming out, it's burning the fog away, and we've already got crowds, especially around here at the finish, who are all expectant of history being made today. Years of work had gone into the Ineos 159 challenge to try and run a marathon in under 2 hours. A huge team behind the scenes had left no stone unturned. But ultimately, it came down to one man and the clock. The story of this history maker begins thousands of miles away in the west of Kenya. In Eldoret, farming is a way of life, but running comes a close second, and they start them young.
We normally run in the morning to school, and then 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock we are out, and it's games time, so we run around.
The way the community are brought up, because they are brought up in such a hardship life, whereby you struggle so much to earn a living. Maybe you work in the farm, you do a lot of casual works. We used to do everything by running. We were running to school, and of course we are far away from school, maybe around 3-4 kilometers away. You run so that you cannot get late. It was always good when you get to school earlier.
Eliud was just a normal boy. He didn't take running that seriously. It was a means to an end, a way of getting to and from school. But it was a meeting with his neighbour, Patrick Sang, an Olympic and World Championship silver medalist, that changed his life.
You know, in Kenya, we have so many athletes. So he was one of those athletes that came for a training program. After a while, I developed interest to get to know who he was. What struck me then was, you know, a guy who is persistent, somebody who wanted to succeed in running.
Humble beginnings. But this relationship between coach and athlete was to become hugely significant for young Eliud.
I see Patrick like a father because I was not lucky to see my father. But that's why Patrick is my life coach, he's my sports coach. So it teaches me many things on how to handle life.
In 2003, he surprised everyone by becoming the junior world cross-country champion.
Eliud would not fear taking on the older, tougher characters, and he did it pretty well.
Kipchoge of Kenya, has he got enough? He's been in the lead a long time. What a performance there by Kipchoge.
When he came to the senior category, hey, it was all easy. Running the 5,000 meters like most of our guys have never run, I can tell you.
And then on the track that summer, this shy, hard-working teenager became the world champion over 5,000 metres. Suddenly, everyone knew the name Kipchoge. He was just 18 years old.
Kipchoge, the world junior record holder, still there. 𝗶𝗏𝗯𝗲, the 10,000-metre gold medalist, still there. 𝗃𝗶𝗰𝗲 trying to get onto them. 𝘊𝗶𝗄 has run his race, or has he? Has he got anything left? 𝘊𝗶𝗄's trying to get there. Kipchoge, the junior's there. 𝘊𝗶𝗄 is trying to get to the line. Kenya wins it. Kipchoge takes the gold medal.
To me, I think one of the things that separate him from the thousands of people who try and probably fall by the wayside is that he has a serious respect for the sport.
Success followed. He wasn't unbeatable, but there was a steady flow of medals and titles, including 5,000-metre Olympic bronze in Athens and a silver in Beijing. But after missing out for a place in the Kenyan team for the London Olympics, Eliud decided it was time for a change.
It was the first time that he missed the Olympics, and it was heartbreaking because essentially you know that he's always given his best, and here it comes, something just cropped up within the race, finishes number 5, and he's out of it. That came the changing point again now, the switch to the marathon.
From 5,000 metres to 26.2 miles, a decision to switch from running on the track to running marathons, a decision that would change his life. Eliud's marathon record since his debut in 2013 is almost perfect. He's lost just once in 12 races, and he's saved some of his best performances for the British crowds, winning 4 times in London and beating everyone on the way.
Cruising now to another victory in the London Marathon. He is the greatest ever, by a long way.
And as he kept winning, he kept getting faster. In 2016, he finally got his Olympic gold, dominating the field in Rio.
Kipchoge is the Olympic champion.
And 2 years later, he broke the world record in Berlin, running 2 hours, 1 minute and 39 seconds. He was officially the quickest marathon runner in history. But could he do what no one had ever done and run one in under 2 hours?
You're expecting this guy to do a sub 2? Yet nobody has ever done that, and you want this guy to run below that. And no human, yet science has informed us that no one is going to do this until 2075. And the guy is saying, I'm going to do this.
Scientists may have predicted it would take another 50 years to break this record, but Eliud didn't agree. He knew this was something he could do.
Getting a human being to make history and actually inspiring the whole generation. You know, a human being is about his conscience. And many people actually are stuck in their conscience that they need to live. They are living on what they have only, and that's enough. So I was running with me and my whole team. We were training and aiming to run 159 in order to actually remove that those things in human beings' minds, that they are not limited and they can do whatever they want.
He made an attempt in Monza in 2017, missing out by just 25 seconds. So to actually achieve it, to run 26.2 miles in less than 2 hours, everything would need to be perfect. So where to start in planning for something no one had done before? For Eliud, at his base in Eldoret, life for him and the team was simple. They had one focus. But despite the pressure, he remained unchanged. Eliud was just Eliud.
Our life here is simple, and we wake up in the morning, go for a morning run, come back, spare your time to go for massage, you go for massage or you relax, go for exercises.
Open, close, 2, close, 3, close.
Here in the training camp we have the work that has been to be done. Every athlete, we do our general cleaning. And Eliud is part of the team that is doing the general cleaning. That's motivating the young athletes that no matter how good or great you are in the world, other things still matter as a human being. By nature, we are farmers. You know, when you are young, you have been encouraged to work hard and buy maybe one animal or two to show that you are really working hard. This is called Sharon. When people hear the name Eliud Kipchoge, they think that is somebody different from any other human being, but Eliud is really a humble guy. He's supportive.
I can say Eliud is my role model. When I'm training, I normally say I want to be like Eliud.
When he gets into the business, it is business. No joking around, no monkey business, it is that.
Behind the scenes, a huge technical team was assembled to plan this attempt at history. Vienna was chosen as their location because the Austrian capital had the perfect temperature and humidity in October. There was a small chance of rain and it offered the flattest and straightest roads. A team of 41 pacemakers was assembled with some of the best distance runners from around the world. They would run in Y formation with Eliud just behind to ensure minimal wind resistance. He had cutting-edge shoes designed specifically for the challenge. Getting his nutrition and hydration right during the race were key. Nothing was overlooked. Eliud was ready. It all came down to him.
We have liftoff. Apollo Kipchoge is up and away, and the challenge, very easy to say, to run 26.2 miles, 42.2 kilometres in under 2 hours. Very easy to say, rather more difficult to achieve, and they're on their way on the Reichsbrücke, travelling over the Danube, and they will be heading into the Prater very, very shortly indeed.
Eliud is just completely relaxed. He is just in a state of flow. He's just locking in to the pace. Really no mental energy is going to be wasted right now.
We're going to talk about the pacing, but just give us a sense of how revolutionary this open V formation is.
Well, it just looks like it shouldn't work. They're running with this wide front and it's a reverse V, and you think, well, how can that work? But everyone tells me that it reduces drag on Eliud, and they've done all the testing that they need to do to ensure that it's actually the optimal formation.
He is a phenomenal person as well as a phenomenal athlete, and there he is just bunched in behind the pacemakers. The absolute trust between all 8 people at any one time. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, the formation will remain the same throughout each of the teams. And the one constant throughout of all this, of course, is Eliud himself. Eliud Kipchoge there in the white.
It was the perfect start. Then the first change to the pacemakers team, who rotate in and out 9 times. Some of the best runners in the world were in Vienna, including 1500-metre world champion Bernard Lagat and the 𝗿𝗂𝗏𝗏 brothers from Norway. Their job? To keep Eliud running at a steady pace and reduce wind resistance on him.
One of the big landmarks coming up is the 5-kilometre split. Ed, how is he looking?
I think he looks pretty good, but then he always looks pretty good. So let's see what, you know, they say in Kenya the race starts at 35. If he's still looking good at 35, I think he's got a great shot. You know, right now he looks super relaxed, and it doesn't look like this pace is hurting him too much, but let's see how he goes.
Through the first 5 kilometres, and Eliud was on target. To run a sub-2-hour marathon, he had to run 14 minutes and 13 seconds for every 5K, which means running 4 minutes 34.5 seconds for every mile. Imagine that at your local park run. His speed was incredible.
Team 3 just about to take over, the captain Brett Robinson, and again we'll introduce you to the members of Team 3, but it's again another very smooth transition. There we can say Henrik 𝗿𝗏𝗏, Philip as well, and Jakob centre of picture, all fresh from the World Championships in Doha. Again, marks out of 10, Ed, for that transition.
I think that one was the best one yet. He'll be thinking right now, this is, you know, he's on schedule, and he doesn't look, I don't know what you think, Shane. He doesn't look like he's having too much trouble here.
Oh, no. I mean, well, first of all, Eliud is just a beautiful runner. And even when he does break down, it's very, very small increments. But the fact that he's within seconds of his goal predicted time right now is not a big factor. If we saw that the splits were starting to drift backwards continuously, but they're not. They're just fluctuating by a second faster, second on, maybe 1 second slower. That's really nothing to worry about right now. As long as the overall time is where we need it to be is what is important.
Well, the pacemakers continue to do their job, and they have been expertly put together and assembled by Spencer Barden, who is a very well-known figure in marathon running circles. He's the elite director for the London Marathon. He's been heavily involved in choosing and training and forming these pacemakers, and he's now with Crystal.
First things first, Spencer, is it going to plan?
So far, all is going to plan. So early days yet, still a long way to go, but the exchanges have gone very well so far. Eliud's on pace, so far so good.
I'm interested in the conceptualizing of the formations. Can you take us through that process?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work in the build-up to this event in terms of looking at the formations, what was best for Eliud, what would give him the most protection out on the course. So we've come up with it's not a conventional formation. We've done a lot of testing with the athletes at the test event and here in the last couple of days. But we've got a fantastic group of world-class athletes. So they're relishing the opportunity and they're working well in the formation, communicating with each other. And so far, it's all going very well.
And the crucial parts come a bit later.
Absolutely, yeah. When the athletes start to get tired and Eliud starts to get tired in the latter stages, that's when we need to really focus on what we're doing. So certainly the last sort of 10k, 30k onwards, that's when it's going to get tough. But we're in a good place.
50 minutes in, and everything was going to plan. The handovers between each of the pacemaker teams had been smooth. Eliud looked strong. Vienna had been chosen because of the course. It was flat and straight, but also because of the weather conditions. So when the heavens opened, that wasn't part of the plan.
Just a quick weather update. There was a 10% chance of rain forecast for today, and I can confirm that it has just started to rain now. So if we see one or two splits and spats on the camera lens, that is now real rain.
Halfway, the conditions were getting worse, but Eliud was still on target. He was 11 seconds inside the sub-2-hour marathon pace. Now things would get really tough.
I do see a little bit of strain maybe on his face. He's kind of puffing his cheeks, maybe doing a little smiling. It means he's working hard, as it should be. This should be hard. But I can see some signs that I didn't see about 5K ago that he's working.
I think
he's already working.
Yeah, I think he's having a little difficult little patch.
Yeah.
Radzi's with Chris Froome.
Chris, how much are you enjoying watching Eliud do this? It is phenomenal.
It is. I mean, it's fantastic. Just incredible to watch him. It looks like he's not even breathing. He's just gliding over the road. It's amazing to be here and to be part of this atmosphere. And hopefully, we'll be witnessing history being made today.
And to that point, you're Kenyan born. What do you think it will mean to the people of Kenya for one of their own to make history?
It would be incredible. I mean, obviously Kenya's quite well known already for its marathon runners, but to have someone do something monumental as this, basically breaking barriers, showing that the impossible is doable, and especially coming from such humble beginnings, I think it would be inspiring a lot of people around the world.
10 kilometers to go, Eliud was struggling. The effect of running at this speed for so long was clear on his face. He would have to dig deep. The time could so easily slip away.
He has to be thinking right now, and I'm sure this is a version of what he's thinking. If not now, when?
Well, this is all about Eliud Kipchoge, of course, and what a moment. We've been talking about what might be going through his mind. One of the things he might be thinking about is his wife and family. Grace, his wife, who has never seen him race live in the flesh before, well, she is now, and she's with Radzi.
She is indeed. Grace, I see you watching your husband up on the screen. What goes through your head when you see him run?
I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also excited that he has tried to break the 2-hour barrier of marathon. I'm really excited. I'm happy for him. Yeah.
You've also brought your 3 children along as well. How are they enjoying it?
They are very excited. They have never been to a race where their dad runs.
He's going to be an example for all future athletes, but not just athletes. His message is to the world of, what are you possible, what are you capable of doing, and what is your possible best self?
I feel very nervous right now because anyone who's ever run a marathon will know that the last few miles, anything can happen and the wheels can come off. He looks really good. He's hurting. You're just hoping that he's got this.
When the conversation first started for the sub-2 effort, I said, no way in my lifetime will I witness the sub-2-hour marathon. I truly did not believe I would be able to witness something like this.
Science said it couldn't be done. We all thought it was impossible. 65 years on from the first 4-minute mile, the last great distance barrier to be broken, Eliud had a kilometre left to run in his own attempt at history. But could he do it?
He is almost there. He has one hand on history here in Vienna. There's Grace, his wife, looking on. She's never seen him race before in the flesh, remember. What a moment for her. What a moment for What a moment for the children. The pace car has gone. We've lost the laser.
He's getting quicker.
It's now all down to Eliud and the pacemakers.
The gloves are off.
He's getting quicker.
He's racing right now. This is racing.
Well, this is true racing. Shalane knows what this feels like through the streets of Central Park in New York, whether it's in Berlin or London. But today is all about Vienna. Today is all about Eliud Kipchoge. We're down to the last couple of minutes to bring him home. Ed, some final thoughts from you.
I'm overjoyed that particularly this man has got to do this. It's not just the barrier being broken, it's something that has existed in this person's head for so long, and it's so gratifying to watch him achieve that.
He's almost there. He can see the finish line. That's the view from Eliud Kipchoge. You can see the finish line where we are looming into view. 1:57 and approaching 1:58. I think we can say with some certainty
there
now that he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going.
He's telling him to move away.
Come on, he says. Come on, this is it. Shalane, a final thought from you.
This is incredible. Eliud's performance is such a gift to the world. His running is a gift to all of us. I feel so blessed to be here today. I hope everyone can hear me smiling through this microphone right now. I cannot stop smiling.
500 meters to go. He has the 𝗷𝗃𝗃 to himself. All the pacemakers have let him go. As Ed said, he is sprinting into the history books here. They're cheering him on. 400 meters to go. Let's bring him home. This is history unfolding on the streets of Vienna this morning. It's a Saturday run like we've never seen before. Listen at the noise. The crowd getting right behind him. Goodness me, 300 meters to go. He can see the finish line here. Neil Armstrong we had on the moon in 1969. We had Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile 65 years ago. Edmund Hillary, the first man to climb Everest in 1953. We have 1 minute to go. Eliud Kipchoge is on his way here.
It's not going to be a minute.
This humble farmer who used to run 2 miles to school every day and back. He used to go to the nearest town on his bike to sell milk at the local market. And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. He has less than 200 meters to go. Eliud Kipchoge, let's keep an eye on the clock, into the final 20 seconds. Eliud Kipchoge on his shoulder, 1:40, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. 1:59.40, the unofficial time. The first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours. One final lung-busting stride for Kipchoge. One giant leap for human endeavour. And you know, Kipchoge was right. No human is limited. He has done it.
It has taken 65 years for a human being to make history in sport. After Roger Bannister made history in 1954, I'm the happiest man to run under 2 hours in order to inspire many people, to tell people that no human is limited. You can do it. I'm expecting more of the athletes in peace all over the world to run under 2 hours after today.
I'm still in the moon. I'm yet to come down to earth. Really excited. Happy for him, for what he has achieved. He's actually inspired all of us that we can stretch our limits in our lives and we can do more than we think we can do.
That was one time that my tears flew down. This is a career climax that you feel you've been with this guy from when he was down there, when you've walked all the way to the level that he is now at the top of the world and doing something that no other human being has been able to do. It feels good.
He had traveled for the first time with his family because he knew that this is one of the most important things in his career. It was really emotional to see my kids crossing the finishing line, and it was really novel for me to have them there and to learn something that if you actually concentrate on something, automatically will achieve it.
He'd done it. Eliud Kipchoge had broken the seemingly impossible record, 1 hour, 59 minutes and 40 seconds to run 26.2 miles. He really had shown that no human is limited. Back home in Kenya, they celebrated their new hero. Across the world, as millions of people watched on, the congratulations kept coming.
After running under 2 hours, then a lot of comments, including Barack Obama, came in. And I was happy, you know, and that was my highest moment of being happy. Barack Obama is a very good example of no human is limited.
But despite his incredible achievement, Eliud remained just Eliud.
Celebrity status? Not him. He does not even celebrate. You know, if it was any other guy, it would have been a carnival party in Nairobi and in Eldoret. Oh, he came back. The guys in Nairobi were waiting for him. They knew that he's here when he was already in his house in Eldoret. And they are mad. You know, they're like, okay, how can he do that? Who does that?
The important thing is inspiration. It's not fame. So when I saw all the footage from all over the country, from Mombasa, Nairobi, Eldoret, Malaba, all across the whole country in Kenya, then I was really happy.
So what next? What is there left for him to achieve? The London Marathon and the Tokyo Olympics were supposed to be his career swan song, but the coronavirus pandemic has delayed that. For now, in lockdown like the rest of the world, Eliud is still training back home in Kenya for that moment he can return to the roads. And we hope that will be when the London Marathon finally goes ahead on October the 4th. But whenever he does return, he returns as a history maker. He returns as the greatest marathon runner ever. He returns as the greatest.
Eliud has a belief that when you're climbing a tree, every branch, once you are done with one branch, you go to the next branch.
He'll take on anything. Anything, I can tell you that. It wouldn't be out of this world to see 159 on a normal course.
What motivates me is the love of sport and how sport can transform this world. I've learned that you can use sport to actually unite all the people in the whole world.
Eliud has his own reasons to run, as do the thousands of you who are still training for the marathon and other mass participation events. Many of you do it to raise money for special causes, and there is still something you can do to help make up the £4 billion shortfall that British charities are facing this year. Good luck with whatever you do. There's more information on the 2.6 Challenge website. And just to say, we have a special programme tomorrow on the first London Marathon. From 2 o'clock on BBC One, the 1981 London Marathon, an historical first, looks back at the very first race and it charts how it's grown over the years, so don't miss that. We leave you, though, with a tribute to former British Athletics Performance Director Neil Black, who sadly died last week, aged 60. Neil was a top-class junior in his youth and then became one of the best physiotherapists in the sport before taking up his lead role at British Athletics after London's 2012 Olympics. Neil oversaw Britain's success at a whole host of major events and mentored and guided many athletes to great success, including Sir Mo Farah, before he stood down as Performance Director last year. Quiet, trusted, and very well respected, Neil will be hugely missed by the many people who knew and worked with him.